There are many game studios out there known for a particular franchise, often the first or even the only thing they've ever made. However, sometimes the studio first worked on something else before discovering a golden goose. Here are 10 game studios that had amazing success when they introduced a new game series. Amsterdam-based Guerrilla Games made Killzone for the PlayStation 2 as a direct answer to Microsoft's success with Halo. The Killzone franchise never became that popular, but it spawned games on every Sony platform, including the latest Killzone Shadowfall on the PS4. But Guerrilla Games completely switched gears when it created Horizon Zero Dawn. Instead of the first-person shooter genre they were so accustomed to, they made an open-world action role-playing game. We can't say yet whether Horizon Zero Dawn is a commercial success, but reviewers all over the world praise the game for its solid gameplay and amazing atmosphere. Now that's how you change things up successfully as a game studio.
Isn't she beautiful? Just look at her. Amazing. Oh, man.
HAL Laboratory has always had a close relationship with Nintendo. After creating several games for Nintendo's platforms, HAL Laboratory made Kirby's Dream Land for the Game Boy. It was the first in the franchise and a major commercial success. It was followed by many other Kirby games for other Nintendo platforms in the years to come. Even though the studio remained involved in other Kirby projects, it formed the foundations of another Nintendo franchise that's loved by many: the over-the-top fighting game Super Smash Bros. They made the original Smash for the Nintendo 64, Melee for the GameCube, and Brawl for the Nintendo Wii, after which development switched to other studios. In the late 80s and early 90s, the Scottish game studio DMA Design had great success with the puzzle series Lemmings. This series was ported to a variety of platforms and spawned several sequels. But this was nothing compared with what would happen next. The studio moved from a 2D puzzle adventure to a top-down open-world game. In 1997, the studio made an action-adventure game called Grand Theft Auto for PC and PlayStation 1. The game got a sequel on the same platforms, followed by Grand Theft Auto 3.
I kill you!
DMA Design would soon become Rockstar North, the studio we all know as the masterminds behind the GTA series. Grand Theft Auto 5 has shipped over 75 million copies worldwide and earned close to $3 billion. Yes, this all started with Lemmings.
And I was like, whoa, 3 words, low support the freeway.
Once upon a time, Bungie was known for its first-person shooter series called Marathon, but the studio really made a name with the Halo series. Halo reinvented the first-person shooter genre on consoles and has been a household name on the Xbox for over a decade. The series has sold over 46 million games worldwide. When the ties between Bungie and Microsoft were cut, Bungie was forced to make something new, and they came up with Destiny. This shooter was completely built around online play, including its loot, raid, and competitive modes. Bungie's continuous support for the game makes sure gamers keep flocking back for more. By the end of the 90s, there were only a few first-person shooters that really mattered in the online space. One of them was Unreal Tournament by Epic Games. This fast-paced arena shooter got millions glued to their computer as they blew each other up, trying to get that monster kill.
Mega kill. Ultra kill.
The series spawned several sequels and less successful console adaptations. Epic Games made a real breakthrough when they made Gears of War for the Xbox 360. They went from a fast-paced arena shooter to a cover-based third-person shooter. The entire trilogy was made by Epic Games and turned out to be one of the defining series of its generation.
In the Black Mesa Research Facility. Missing a scheduled urinalysis or radiation checkup.
In recent years, Valve is mostly known for its online game distribution system Steam. But the gaming company started as the developer of Half-Life. This series became known as one of the best story-driven first-person shooters ever made. Fans were waiting for a third entry in the series. Instead, we got Portal, and boy was this game brilliant.
Hello, and again, welcome to the Aperture Science Computer-Aided Enrichment Center.
It completely reinvented the first-person puzzle genre, and it also had a very strong narrative, even though we still have hope they will release Half-Life 3 someday.
Well done. Remember, the Aperture Science Bring Your Daughter to Work Day is the perfect time to have her tested.
From Software established itself as the main developer of the Armored Core series. This was a third-person mech combat game. The studio also made some sidesteps with role-playing games, but yet it's always known as the studio that made those mech games, which were popular in Japan, but not that much in the West. This all changed with Demon's Souls in 2009, and the Dark Souls series that spawned from it. Suddenly, From Software has become one of the biggest and most loved game studios out there. There hasn't been a series that got so much love for being hardcore since Team Ninja made Ninja Gaiden for the Xbox. Now the Souls series has sold 13 million copies and has put From Software on the map. Intelligent Systems is another one of those game studios that's very close friends with Nintendo. The studio has developed tons of games for the NES and newer consoles, but they made their first breakthrough when they co-developed the action-adventure games Metroid and Super Metroid. These games are still praised up until this day, but their success doesn't stop there. Basically, everything touched by Intelligent Systems is gold. Since the mid-90s, the company started making role-playing games. This resulted in a number of game franchises that are still successful and popular to this day. They made role-playing games like Paper Mario and Fire Emblem. They also introduced the handheld tactical game Advance Wars. Intelligent Systems has been at the foundation of some of the most influential games in Nintendo's portfolio.
The kingdom of Azeroth was a prosperous one. The humans who dwelled there turned the land into a paradise.
Blizzard Entertainment has its foundations in PC gaming. This started with Warcraft and was followed by StarCraft, Diablo, and sequels for all these titles. The company even made MMO gaming a mainstream phenomenon when it made World of Warcraft. Yet the company was stuck making games in the same genre or same franchise for many years. Even though Hearthstone is something completely new, it's still tied closely to the Warcraft universe. However, last year Blizzard finally managed to move away from its past with Overwatch. This was the studio's first online shooter, and it introduced completely new characters. Even though we know many of you are probably sick of all the praise for Overwatch, this list couldn't be made without mentioning it. Naughty Dog had a lot of success with Crash Bandicoot on the first PlayStation. The character basically became the symbol of the console. On the PS2, the studio brought Jak and Daxter to the table, which spawned a couple of amazing sequels. But the real game changer came with the release of Uncharted: Drake's Fortune for the PlayStation 3. The cinematic, action and strong storytelling made Uncharted one of the most successful and defining series of the generation. The fact that the studio also made The Last of Us, which is often claimed to be one of the best games of all time, is just an extra cherry on the pie. Naughty Dog manages to outdo itself time and time again by creating amazing games. This list proves that game studios don't need to be a one-trick pony. Sometimes doing something new will lead to success. Do you have a favorite game studio that has games in multiple genres? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel.
Okay, you got it. There you go.
What? Is that it?
You asked for it. Oh.
You gotta be kidding me.